Hey, welcome everyone to my first review of movies. And I know it's probably crazy to think that I'm reviewing movies, but here we are. So, love cinema, always love cinema, and it's great to be able to share with you guys how I feel about movies, TV shows, you name it. So here we go. Here's the first go at it. So anyway, first movie we're going to review is The Long Halloween, um, based off of a graphic novel back in the '90s. Probably one of my favorite Batman stories. Definitely top 10 anyway. Fantastic book about Batman having to solve murders that are taking place on holidays. And this killer seems to be killing crime families across the city. Um, the runtime is about 82 minutes. It's part one of part two, kind of like The Dark Knight Returns, if anyone's ever seen that. Except the space in between movies is dramatically shorter. This one released in June, and the next one I believe is in September. So you don't have to wait too long for the second part, which is always nice because it does end on a cliffhanger. The book, it was just one book. It's a graphic novel, and it's all in one contained story. But the movies, they're splitting it up, and for good and worse. Um, Troy Baker voices Joker in this thing, and I'm a huge fan of Troy Baker's work when it goes to Borderlands, whether it's Joel in The Last of Us, whether it's the Hulk in the Avengers. The man is a genius when it comes to voiceover work, and I recommend anything he does. Anything he touches, I'm in. And you know what? I would have to say, like, it is pretty close, and this is coming from me, okay? Because I'm a huge Joker fan, huge Mark Hamill Joker fan. Batman the Animated Series is probably my favorite animated show of all time. But Troy Baker, this is probably like a tie for who is my favorite animated Joker at this point. He did such fantastic work in this. And this isn't the first time he's voiced the Joker. He voiced the Joker in Batman Arkham Origins, the video game back on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And holy crap, he nails it. Jensen Ackles, you guys probably know him from Supernatural. He's one of the brothers. He voices Batman, which is still weird for me because to me, the animated Batman is Kevin Conroy. He's done the video games. He did Batman. Like he's done everything. He's done anything animated Batman. He has been Batman. So it's a bit weird to hear a different voice, but I think Jensen does his own take and he does it very well. Um, what else can I say about the movie? The movie it was fantastic. I think they did a good job of really making the images of the graphic novel really pop up on the screen. Like it's almost like you're reading the book, but it's animated, it's motion, it's there for you to see, and it kind of reminds me of the work of The Dark Knight Returns. Much different animation style, and that's another credit I'll give it is that for me, it's probably the closest animation style since Batman the Animated Series. And if you're a fan of that, you're going to be a fan of this animation. Um, it's really top notch. Batman, the villains, everything they all look very top notch. Now with the negatives, if I have to say anything negative, and it's really nitpicky, it would be that I think they pad it a little too much in certain areas. And it's very subtle. You may not notice it unless you're really paying attention. But I've seen the film 3 times now. So it was like the second, definitely the third time I noticed like they really, I know it's only 82 minutes, but I think it was still really, there's probably 10 minutes of padding there that didn't need to be there. Now, it's not like The Killing Joke where they added like 25 minutes of stuff that wasn't even in the graphic novel. And actually, in some aspects, I think they actually expanded on a little bit of The Long Halloween. They fleshed out some characters a little bit more than they were in the book. So to me, that was okay. You know what I mean? But when I say subtle padding, I mean like in between lines, like there's these like 2 to 3 second pauses in between lines, like where it's just dead air. There's nothing there. They're not saying anything. It's like it's just there to pad the length of the movie. Um, and some of the animation is a little off. And I would say it's not the characters per se, it's the out of frame animations. And how do I explain this? So they could be talking, let's say Gordon and Harvey Dent are talking. And then all of a sudden, like Harvey Dent's arm will come in and he'll be like sitting there like this. But the arm doesn't feel like it was animated with the body because everything is so like nothing is hand drawn anymore, right? Everything is computer. It's all done on a computer and everything else. So I just feel like the two pieces of the puzzle didn't go together the way they were supposed to. But like it's just very little nitpicky things that I didn't like about the film. But overall, they've done a fantastic job of recreating the graphic novel onto the big screen, which is what I love. Like you're going to hear that a lot from me, especially with movie reviews. If they can make it so a graphic novel is basically, it's there on the screen. You know what I mean? It's just going to make me melt. You know what I mean? It's going to blow my mind, and I love that. The story of The Long Halloween was fantastic. They haven't detoured at all from the graphic novel, as far as I could tell. Now, I did read the book before I watched the films, so I'm fairly certain it's pretty bang on, Now, the second half, part 2, comes out in September. That's where I think things may get a little weird, because I know with Hush, for instance, that was also a graphic novel, and they made a film about it, which was fantastic. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But the ending of Hush was changed for the film, and I'm just really hoping they don't do that here. I know they want to surprise fans and of the graphic novel and everything else, but like certain aspects of art and books and everything else, they're special for a reason, and don't mess with that. Don't mess with that magic of those books. You know what I mean? I don't mind creators trying to maybe alter things a tiny bit, but like when it comes to the big structural moments of a story, like beginning, climax, end, don't mess with it. You know what I mean? Just keep it as it is. So part 1 is rated PG-13, or that's American, 14A in Canada. The second part is rumored to be rated R. So I'm trying. I read the book and I just don't see anything that was like super rated R about it, but I'm interested to see what they do here. Like I know Catwoman and Batman are very sexual, I guess. You know what I mean? But they're sexual, but they're not sexual. It might just be the way the characters are. Like they're drawn very sexually. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm very excited for part 2. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and hopefully my opinion makes it so that you go out and watch this thing. If I had to rate it out of 10, I would probably rate it an 8 out of 10. Like I said, there's a little bit of padding there that just isn't necessary, and it really took me out of it sometimes. I do think this movie could have been probably 5 to 7 minutes shorter, and it would have been more defined, you know what I mean, or fine-tuned. I really do think that there was way too many pauses and just like blank staring at each other and things like that was just weird and out of place. And some of the animation was a little off. But besides that, it's a fantastic film, and I definitely recommend you go and check it out. I do believe you can rent and buy it on all the major, like Google, Apple, whatever. I would definitely recommend it. Now, do keep in mind that usually after the second part of these 2-part movies that come out, they usually release like a deluxe edition where you can get both of them. So it's really up to you what you want to do here. But like as a collector, obviously, I'm going to pick it up. And I'll probably double dip and get the deluxe edition too, just like I did with The Dark Knight Returns. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is the first review, and let me know in the comments. Give me some constructive feedback. I know it's kind of raw this time around, but things are gonna, we'll change things up and we'll get something going here. But there's gonna be a lot more of these things coming, because I love talking cinema. I just love it. I love it. I love the art form, and I just love sharing it with other people. And hopefully you guys enjoy the videos. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and it makes it so I can create more videos. Also, make sure to turn on those notifications so you know when I'm dropping more reviews. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next review.